Welcome back to another tutorial. In this tutorial, I'm going to be showing you how to use the new projectile rec room object chip to make it so you can go ahead and shoot AI, and as you see, doesn't work if I shoot nothing else. I have to shoot exactly the AI, and you can set the damage on the gun handle. So let's get into the video. Okay, so I already have done this, but when you are in your room, obviously you're going to need a nav mesh for your AI to actually move around. My AI wasn't moving around because I was testing it out, but you want a nav mesh so your AI does not break. So I'm just gonna rebake the nav mesh even though I got one, and I'm gonna keep it shown in the room so you guys can see that the AI can move around anywhere. This is what the nav mesh looks like, a bunch of plus signs on the ground with purple. The first thing we're gonna do is get our AI. We're just gonna place them down somewhere. And then once we get the AI, we're going to pull that up a little bit so it's not on the floor and just choose the AI. I usually just choose the melee goblin because that's the easiest to deal with. I mean, I guess you could choose a pumpkin head skeleton if you want. But I'm going with a melee goblin because that's the original. And once you have that, we are going to configure the AI. You can put whatever settings you want in here. I'm going to give the AI a modified health number of 500. And I am going to put his speed down to 1 so when he does start moving, he doesn't just chase me all around the room too fast. I'm going to make his health bar always visible so you can see the damage being taken. And I'm going to leave everything else the same. Now that you got your AI spawned, we are gonna get started with the trigger handle. So we are gonna get an animation gizmo. The animation gizmo? Yeah, we're gonna get an animation gizmo and place it down. This is so when we place our gun handle down, um yeah, this is so when we place our gun handle down, it will stay in the air right here. I'm not going to make a gun or anything in this video. You guys can figure out how to make those and everything. I'm just going to show you the basics. Once you connect your trigger handle to the animation gizmo, go ahead and configure the animation gizmo to turn it on. And now your gun handle should stay in the air and go back. Really useful. We're going to go ahead and move this to the side. And we are going to disconnect the gun handle. We are going to detach the gun handle object board. It's called object board from it, so it doesn't get on our way. Next, we are going to get a projectile launcher because if we didn't have this, we wouldn't be able to do this. So go ahead and place your projectile launcher as close to the center as you can. It's okay if it's not perfect. Usually if you have a gun, you probably want the projectile launcher to be looking down the sights. And now that we got the projectile launcher, we're going to get a clamp gizmo, and we are going to get a clamp gizmo to connect the trigger handle and projectile launcher together. The trigger handle goes on the bottom and the projectile launcher goes on the top. And we are going to go ahead and take the projectile launcher chip off, put it above the gun handle, object board chip, whatever you want to call it. And we are going to also detach this. And of course, we're going to connect it like normal. You connect the projectile origin to the projectile, the direction to the firing direction, and on gunfire to the firing direction. And there we go. It's not going to do nothing yet, but this is a great start. So now we're going to place down two buttons. We're going to place down one to spawn the AI and one to despawn the AI. I find this easier to do than do anything else. Let's see. So yeah, if you press this, it's going to spawn the AI. And if you press this, it's going to reset the AI. I think I'm going to actually move these around a little bit so it's less confusing. There we go. Now that we got that, let's get into the main circuits of how it's going to work. You're going to really want to pay attention to this part. Okay, so we're going to edit the projectile launcher chip, and we are going to spawn in a event receiver inside the chip. If you saw my update video yesterday, you probably know exactly what I'm going to do. But we are going to spawn in the event receiver and configure it, and you should see a new thing in here called projectile hit rec room object. This is how we're going to get the damage on the rec room object. We're going to place that to the side for right now and get a event sender, and then we're going to get out the chip. And once we get our event sender, like I said, we're going to get out the chip because we can't do nothing yet so far. Now that we got that, we're going to get a event definition chip. And we can place this anywhere. I'm going to place this on a wall right here. And with the event definition chip, you want to copy down exactly what you saw on this chip. So if I edit a projectile launcher, you see that you can't do an execute on the event definition. So you're just going to want to copy firing player, projectile source, collision data, and damage. And I would cut this out, but I'm just going to show you because it's a bit confusing. So go ahead and configure your event definition, and you can change the name of it to whatever you want. I like to name it AI damage since this is going to damage the AI. And with the property, here's where we're going to go. So since we can't do an execute, we're going to skip past the execute. The first one is a firing player, so we're going to get the player type and type in firing player, or you can type in anything else. Doesn't really matter. Just make sure you remember what you type in. Then we're going to add the property, and you see it adds right there. Next, we're going to go with the projectile launcher, which it is not the projectile launcher itself, so don't go down here and be like, oh, it's the projectile launcher. Nope, I made that mistake the first time I did this too. It's actually the rec room object. And we're going to name this projectile source. And once you're done naming that projectile source, I think the next one is the collision data. The collision data is important. The collision data is important. So we are going to go down here, and I think the collision data, the collision data is right here. And we are going to type in collision data. Then once we type in collision data, we will add that property, and of course the last one is going to be an int variable, and this is going to be your damage. And now that you have this, you can now go back into the projectile launcher chip over here. And now when we go into the event sender, we will see the AI damage event that we just made. Of course, keep this local so it affects the local player, not all players. We are going to spread this out a little bit. And once we do that, we can go ahead and just connect these just like so. And we are done in the projectile launcher chip. And yes, I know what you're saying. You're like, That's all we need to do? Yep, that's all we need to do, because next we're going to get a vent receiver out here. And since we got that event receiver connected to a vent sender inside the chip, we should be able to get, yeah, the AI damage out here because we did that. So go ahead and spawn a event receiver with the AI damage. Place this a bit ways from your AI damage. And next we are going to get a combatant receive damage chip. So go ahead and get a combatant receive damage chip and just go ahead and place it anywhere. Doesn't really matter. Okay, so just go ahead and keep it a little further away. And we are going to connect the firing player to the damage source, because when we fire, it's obviously going to hurt the AI that we connect to the target. We are going to connect the damage here, and we are going to connect the execute. Now the target, as you see, we can't connect it to the collision data or the projectile source. This is where you have to be a little creative. So we are going to get a collision data get object. And we are going to connect the collision data get object, and we still can't connect it for right now. So we are going to get a from rec room object chip to convert this into this, and now we can connect it to here. And yes, I know it looks the circuit is not yellow like it should be, but that's completely okay because it still works. And of course, before we test this out, we need to go into our projectile launcher right here and make sure that you scroll all the way down in the projectile launcher and you mess with the rec room object damage because it's 0. So since I got his health at 500, I will make the projectile do 100 damage. I'm going to turn up the force so whenever I shoot him, he gets pushed away. And of course, you can go in here and customize it all you want. I'm just going to make a few little changes here and there. Change this to paintball and a yellow color. And I don't think we did nothing to the gun handle. So yeah, we're going to go into the gun handle. And I'm just going to make this 999 bullets. This is going to be your gun, so you don't exactly have to do this, what I'm doing. And I don't think we need nothing else. I'm going to turn off the highlight beacon because I don't like that. And now that we've done that, now I should be able to spawn the AI in. Oh, wrong button. Spawn the AI in, and then when I grab this, you see that when I shoot anywhere else, it doesn't do any damage, but when I shoot the AI, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you add 500 health, and there you go. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.